Gunnar Hansen is behind this curtain. Behind me.
But if I can begin, take us back 40 years to where you were and what you were doing when you were given this opportunity to make this little movie that's become almost a defining moment in your life. What were you doing all those years ago?
I had just left graduate school and I had a job. I had been working as a bartender in a restaurant, and I got fired. And when I got fired, I was looking for something to do for the summer, so I heard these fellows were in town making a horror movie and they were looking for someone to play the killer. And actually, originally, I ran into someone who told me that they had already hired the killer, which was too bad because he said I would have been perfect to play the part. And then about 2 weeks later, I ran into him again on the street, and he said, "Oh, the guy that's supposed to play the killer is holed up drunk in a motel." So he gave me the name of the casting director, who was Bob Burns, who was the art director on Chainsaw. And I had a vague conversation with Bob, and he said he'd call me, which I knew enough about the movies to know it meant get lost. But one day or 2 days later, he called me and asked me to come down and meet the director and the writer. So then I had a long meeting with Tobe Hooper and Kim Hinkle, and was cast.
Now, was it partly to do with your height, your size? What was it that they wanted from you?
Yeah, well, that's sort of the thing. Tobe explained the character pretty, in his relationship with the family, and this is what really revealed how much Tobe, or little Tobe, knew about acting. He asked me if I was violent, and I said, "No, I'm not violent." And he said, "Well, are you crazy?" And I said, "Not the way you mean." And then he said, he got this worried look and said, "Well, can you do it?" And I said, "Oh, sure, it'd be easy to do." And he goes, "Okay, you got the part." And then later, a week or two later, when we were signing our contracts, we had they called a contract party, where everybody met to get fitted for their costumes and figure out what they're going to do with their hair and all of that stuff. And we're actually given our scripts. When Tobe gave me my script, or actually when I signed the contract and handed him the contract back, he said, "When you came for the interview, I knew I wanted to cast you." And I said, "Oh, why?" Thinking there must be a great answer. And he goes, "Well, because you filled the door." And I realized the only reason he cast me was I was the biggest person who tried out for the part, and that he had no expectations for talent, for acting. He just wanted the biggest piece of meat who could lumber around on the set. So that's how I got the part.